It's World Soil Day, and today we bring you some products of the soil. Also, how often have you heard that your first wealth is your health? We'll talk about traditional ways of staying wealthy, or rather healthy. Hi, I'm Theodore Henry, and you are inside the pages of Jamaica Magazine. Keep watching.
Protect Jamaica, plant your grass. Help us become more resilient to climate change impacts. Protect Jamaica, plant a tree. It improves the island's national biodiversity. Trees may be fruit, ornamental, or timber, but must be native or suitable to the area's natural landscape. Join the Jamaica Million Tree Campaign and help to plant 1 million trees by June 30, 2019. This is a call to action by the National Environment and Planning Agency.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, December 5. Cabinet has approved the interim guidelines for beverages in schools as part of measures to improve the dietary intake of children and reduce the burden of non-communicable diseases. The guidelines specifically prohibit sugar-sweetened beverages being sold or served in schools if the total sugar concentration exceeds set maximum values. The guidelines will seek to reduce sugar content in beverages over a 5-year period, starting in January 2019.
The approval of these guidelines is an important milestone in what has, of necessity, to be a comprehensive, multi-stakeholder approach to beating NCDs.
Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton made the announcement at Tuesday's sitting of Parliament, saying it will significantly reduce non-communicable diseases, which account for 78% of deaths on the island each year. The Auditor General's Department has recommended the development of an accountability and corporate governance framework to strengthen the operations of Petrojam and its parent company, the Petroleum Corporation of Jamaica. The recommendation is contained in a report on the entity's operations for the 2015 to 2018 fiscal years, which was tabled in the House of Representatives yesterday. It highlights breaches in procurement guidelines and inconsistent recruitment and employment practices. To address these and other issues, the Auditor General also recommends that the state commissions an immediate review of key functional areas of the PCJ and Petrojam, and that the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service make it prerequisite for all public boards to establish a governance subcommittee for monitoring and reviewing governance arrangements. This is in alignment with the Prime Minister's directive in July for the Finance Minister to present Cabinet with proposed amendments to the Public Bodies Management and Accountability Act. Mr. Holness, who assumed responsibility for the energy portfolio to ensure accountability, also set up a strategic review committee to look at Petrojam's management and operations, its role in Jamaica's energy security and long-term viability. A new board and general manager were also appointed. The schedule of skilled workers who are able to move freely in CARICOM member states has been expanded to include security guards, beauticians, and agricultural workers. That's one of the outcomes of the December 3 and 4 18th special meeting of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who chaired the meeting, says a special session on transportation at the intersessional meeting of the conference will be held in February 2019 to focus on the important areas of integration and the CSME. Professor Avinash Prasad has been appointed to lead a 10-member commission on the economy. The group will advise member states on CARICOM's growth agenda. CARICOM members also considered the implementation plan for Haiti's full participation in the CSME and welcomed the European Development Fund's assistance to that country. A working group was also established to increase information flow among citizens of CARICOM about the integration movement. Prime Minister Holness says while the CARICOM leaders are committed to taking action, plans are being implemented in a way where accountability can be measured.
The assurance comes in the action. So I would say to the people of the CARICOM region, Trinidad, Jamaica, Barbados, all the regions, you should hold your leaders accountable for action, for the results.
On the heels of his return from Israel, Minister Audley Shaw says young people in the agriculture sector are to benefit from 20 short-term orientation programs in that country. The participants will be exposed to advanced farming technologies and techniques through a 3-week to 1-month program. In addition, 10 one-year scholarships will be granted to young people to build the human capacity of the agriculture sector. Minister Shaw made the disclosure at Thursday's launch of Export Max 3.
We have to learn from others. We must tap into the reality of what they do to achieve levels of wealth creation. The greatest thing that leads to productivity is training your workers on the job, inspiring them to be at their highest levels of output.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Let's get a little breeze on this land. All right. Now let's get some bounce in the rhythm. All right. Let's get some fire on our hearts. Now that is what we call all right. Run, come, get some Jamaica.
It is often said that onion plants grow well on raised beds, but one thing we can't dispute is that we need soil to grow the crop, much like what we have in our very own island home. And now a look at how one private sector company is embracing government's call to increase local production to reduce the importation of onion.
In July 2017, the Caribbean Brawlers Group launched Imagination Farms to produce homegrown products. Now, it's planting onions, Scotch bonnet pepper, sorrel, sweet corn, and West Indies Sea Island cotton on 400 acres of farmland in Hill Run, St. Catherine. Caribbean Brawlers reaped 12 acres of onions under its homegrown brand. This venture is responding to an appeal from government for ramped-up local production of onions.
The statistics are telling us that right now we import over 80% of the onion that we eat.
It is hoped that Imagination Farms' output will help to reduce imports by 10%. The company has plans to increase this to 50% over the next 5 years.
We have a targeted program where we are looking at import substitution and looking at export potential. So, for example, for onions, we want to be a part of the thrust to curtail the amount of imports coming to the country. We're importing about 4 million US, 9 million kgs, and we think that Imagination Farms regarding onions, and we want to be a part of that process in terms of stemming, arresting the importation, and we have started on a good road. Our yields have been good.
This project by CB is demonstrating that it can be done here, and it can be done at a competitive price, and it can be sold to the supermarkets and sold to the hotels at a reasonable price. And it's a fresh product that's coming straight out of the ground. They're going to plant another 60 acres. Onions, onions, onions.
The government is calling on more farmers to pick up the mantle and help curtail our onion imports. And support is an offer through the Agricultural Push Start program.
And this is one where anything coming through, rather, that is the inputs. The seed, the fertilizer, and the spray will be given to the farmers upfront. As long as you prepare the land, RADA will have the seed, the fertilizer, and the spray to give you when you are ready to plant. That means that the only thing that you need to do is to provide the labor and to make sure that you take care of the crop.
For more information on the Agricultural Push Start program, call or visit your nearest Rural Agricultural Development Authority RADA office. Imagine it, believe it. You can play your part in helping to lower Jamaica's high import costs.
We really want
all of you to start thinking about how are you going to level up this November. And level up for us starts with self. So it's really a call to action for you to look at yourself and to see what can you do better, what more can you give, what more do you want to be. So we want all of you to use Youth Month to recommit, to do more, to do better, to go harder. But not just for self, but for communities. Because we believe that young people can change communities. But more than that, level up in your own lives so that we can level up Jamaica. Level, level, level up.
So, did you know that fruits such as grapes and pineapples grown and plucked from our soils can be used to make wine? More lessons on winemaking next.
For thousands of years, man has been enjoying the delights of wine, the tasty alcoholic fluid which is the byproduct of fermented sugar and forms a key component on menus during festive periods. Whether it's dry, sweet, or the sparkling variety, you can learn to make your own as an amateur fermenting for home use or a professional running a lucrative business. The Rural Agricultural Development Authority RADA is fueling local interest by providing training in basic winemaking for persons in farming communities where there's an abundance of suitable raw materials. Today, we're in class, learning the rudiments for the amateur winemaker.
This is one way we can utilize our fruits and our vegetables. You can use things like breadfruit too. But the thing is, it's nice to use the breadfruit when it's lush and ripe. You know, when you're ready to throw it, you say plaka plaka. That is when you use it because you get a real nice flavor from it. You use the soursop, you use everything that is there and get value from it. We talk about adding value and making the country go in terms of economics. That's the means. We have a lot of herbs, like our guinea hen or aloe vera and so forth. So the home doing winemaking is one means of utilizing all of those. And now that it's Christmas, if you had set your wine, say from June, July, you wouldn't have to buy some gifts because you could prepare your gifts. Wine is basically a juice that you're allowed to ferment. And how you work the juice is what gives you a good wine or gives you vinegar. No, there are three types of wine. This is yeast, and it is the main source of your winemaking. The sugar is what feeds the yeast, producing the alcohol and the CO2. When you're ready to do your thing, what you can do is put a little water in a container, dissolve, and then you can put this in it. And if it stays there and bubbles and starts like it's spreading, the yeast is good and well. If it falls to the bottom and nothing now go on, your yeast dead. So therefore you can't use it to make a wine. If you have a winemaking kit available, would be the ideal thing to make your wine in, because you have an airlock here that can tell you when fermentation is happening and when it stops. This is filled with water. And when the wine is being made and the CO2 is being given off, the water in here bubbles. So automatically when no bubbles is coming up in here, you know that fermentation done. So you can pour off your thing. If you're just going the real homemade style, when you don't have the facility, all you have is a keg. So you're going to work from the books. The book says 3 weeks. Say you're making pineapple wine. Nice to use. The best sugar to use in that case would be the granulated sugar. Remember, the granulated sugar is clear, so you would see the yellow, it would show up. If you're doing a batch of roots, you're going to be sweetening with molasses and the dark sugar. Because when you drink your roots, you want that earthy taste. The fact of the matter is, when you break it up, you expose more surface area. So therefore, you're going to get more flavor being extracted. So that is why you pulverize it. After you finish everything, because the heat is a factor, you store your wine in a dark area, dark, cool area. Today we'll be doing a sorrel wine. It's Christmas time, so we have to nice up the place. The hot water is on the sorrel already, and we draw it, we start the sweetening process so we can speed up things. Now, this bag here is a nice little drawstring bag. It's like a strainer. I strew the sorrel here and I lower it. Now, I leave the trash in the bag and keep it there so fermentation happens with it in the bag. The reason simple for that is the flavor at the end of the day is going to be stronger. When you use this and you have it in here, you don't go to 21 days. You go like day 19. You take out this and you get rid of it. And then you close it back. And on the 21 day, you get ready to throw. After it has fermented and you throw it off, you can add some reagents to it so that it clears up easily. The recipe calls for 4 pounds of sugar. I've already added 2, so I'm going to add the other 2. So we're going to stir consistently to ensure that the sugar dissolves. Now, it is important to remember that the sugar content affects the alcohol content of the wine. You may add too much and just get a very sickeningly sweet wine because fermentation isn't complete. Now we are going to measure our yeast to add. You need 1 tablespoon of yeast. This mixture is sorrel, ginger. So all of those little things you see there, that's ginger. And of course, a little cinnamon and the sugar. It's important to remember, you see here, when you add your liquid, at no point it should be up here. You should leave space to facilitate circulation of the carbon dioxide. When you are setting your wine, label your things properly. Label the date that it was set, and you count off your 3 weeks and label the day you're going to throw off. Then now, you are going to close off your container. Put a little tape around here, and you do your thing, and 3 weeks later you throw off your wine. So we are going to decant, and please realize I'm not saying strain, I'm saying decanting, because strain you would get the impression that you're going to throw it to a sieve. We're not doing that, and you do it slowly. Now you see we're coming towards the end where you see the residue coming out, the yeast there. So you don't want that to get out, so you're going to put that down. And this, you're going to throw this away. And then now you cover this and you put it down, and you can, I usually tell my ladies, you can throw off every week. When it's nice and clear, then you can bottle.
I'm Chef Martin McGinley, Executive Chef at Round Hill Resort and Spa. And I started cooking at 15, and I've continued to cook now. So that's close to 35 years now. My main focus is LCCC, Light, Clean, Caribbean Cuisine. That's what I stand by, that's what we look for, and that's what we demonstrate here at Round Hill. A lot of clients who come here, they know what they come for. You know, they come for a lifestyle. They come to eat the purest food, they come to relax. So our expectations are very high. Well, Jamaica has the big, bold flavors. You know, we have the Scotch bonnet, you have the jerk, the ginger's real spicy, and everything's super fresh. You know, fresh is when you're able to pick it and you're able to use it at the same time. I have a program here at Round Hill called See, Touch, and Taste, where we're able to take the guests to our organic garden. They get to see it, they get to touch it, and we bring it back to the kitchen and get to taste it. That's fresh. Now, when you working with the freshest ingredients and freshest product, it takes you to the next level. Why come to Jamaica? To experience the people, the culture, and the food. Because it is unbelievable when you're able to come to an island and get all those three things wrapped into one. It's amazing. And they got great beaches and sunshine is here too as well.
You may have heard some Jamaicans somewhere prescribing bush tea as the treatment for any ailment. And while this practice is slowly changing, it doesn't change the fact that there is medicinal value in many of the plants found right in our own backyards. Here's a small reminder.
Necessity is the mother of invention, and we had to find a way to survive. And so for the plants, the natural gift of the Creator, we could rely on it to guide us into what we needed to do. I didn't know about Fenzik and your pharmaceutical things. I know about bush. So if I had a headache, I knew as a child that I should use the leaves of 3 mackerel bush and a piece of cloth and tie it on my head, and the pain would go.
The use of herbs as medicine. While this age-old practice has been overlooked by many, the Institute of Jamaica saw it fitting to mount an exhibition on medicinal plants of Jamaica and their uses, bringing to the present the medicinal habits used in the past.
So at least 330 plants have been found growing in Jamaica, have been identified as having medicinal value. Of that 334, at least 193 have been assessed for their biochemical activities, and 23 of those are actually endemic plants.
Not every plant, though in its natural form is good, is accessible to everybody. And knowing the information about the plant and wanting to get that into the hands of the people, some of our scientists have begun to study extensively some of these plants to see how they can be formulated in such a way so that they can be packaged and be accessible to the public.
You just don't wake up and say, Eureka, I have found it. They would have learned from the people in the community what plants were used for what purpose. So you know all those things in your childhood because they were continually using the plants of nature to assist in what they were doing.
Ever since I was a child, my mom always said me go break a piece of bush to make tea if the tea bag run out. But what was I getting out of it? I had no clue. And sometimes people say it worked, some other people say it didn't work. So that's why I really did the research to find out if these plants actually work. So we started only making butterbrush, which is also known as Callistemon viminalis. And then we broadened and we focused on lemongrass. We focused on most of the herbs that are used by native Jamaicans to cure different ailments.
In addition to the showcase, students from the Dunrobin, Chetola Park, and the Rollington Town primary schools were scientists for a day as they participated in one of the institution's monthly and afternoon with a scientist sessions. Modeled around the Ministry of Education's academic calendar, the mandate of the program is to expose students to and encourage an appreciation for different disciplines of science through fun-filled scientific activities.
I've been promoting entrepreneurship, especially in the medicinal plant industry. So one of the things I do is to give back. So I volunteer even at my children's school. We have an entrepreneurial club where I teach them to make different products from plants.
I learned that they can use herbs to make soap.
It was very exciting because I got to see what dangerous chemicals they use in it and how is it correct to go on the skin.
First, we had to put some coconut oil in like a metal cup. Then we had to put shea butter in it and melt it. And then we put it in sodium hydroxide. And it was very, very, very hot. I spilled it a couple times, but it was okay, just a little clean up. And it began to get thick, so I was like, what should I do now? And she was like, just mix it, it's normal. And then we got to put what we want in there. I put charcoal in there, and then I made a swirl in the mold. It was a very good experience.
I'm so happy our students were able to participate in the activity held here at the Institute, where they learn more about medicinal plants. I believe it's very important for them to know that the plants that are found right there in their backyards can be used for healing of ailments that they'll have, the common cold, whatever the ailment may be.
This is what I would like to engage the people in. Go back to their communities and learn how people lived. A generation which came out of slavery could neither read nor write, and yet they were able to contain themselves and to live. We want the students to have some respect for the heritage of this country, because it is going to guide you to the future.
This 24-hour period is being globally observed as World Soil Day under the theme, Be the Solution to Soil Pollution. Today we want you to remember just how important soil is to our basic needs. The soil acts as a drainage system by absorbing rainwater, thereby helping to prevent floods. It provides important nutrients to the plants we eat. It helps in regulating Earth's temperature, and the soil provides a home for many organisms. So today, help in being the solution to soil pollution. All this as we work to make our country the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business.
Did you know that in a recent survey done by the OCA in schools across Jamaica, 43% of the students received inappropriate messages from strangers? The OCA wants you to be smart online. Never speak to persons you don't know. Parents, encourage your children to be social but be smart.
This message was brought to you by the Office of the Children's Advocate with support from UNICEF.
And this is where we'll have to leave you for today's show. But do join us again tomorrow for what promises to be another informative edition. If you missed anything, you can watch it all again on our website or our YouTube page. And don't forget to keep up with us via our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter pages. Remember to help in making our soil safe for all. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.